Hey there! I'm truly glad you decided to spend a little time with me today. I know life can move fast. It's easy to get caught up in everything. Right now, in this moment, I just want to say thank you for being here, for taking a pause, for letting yourself slow down, even if just for a while. You know, stories, they have this unique way of bringing us together. They connect us, not just through the words we hear, but through the feelings they stir. Sometimes those feelings are raw, deep, and unexpected. Other times, they're reminders of things we've kept inside, things we didn't even realize we were holding on to. And in a way, those stories give us the chance to heal, to reflect, and to find peace. Today, I want to share with you a letter. It's a very special one, written by a woman who's carried a decision with her for many, many years, a decision that changed everything for her. It's a story of loss, yes, but more than that, it's about love, regret, and the quiet hope for healing. It's the story of a mother who never got to meet her child, a child she couldn't keep even though she wanted to. But this story isn't just about what was lost. It's about the love that never fades and the forgiveness that still feels out of reach. I want you to listen closely, because in this story you might just hear something that resonates with you. I believe that's true. And maybe, just maybe, the words in this letter will find their way to your heart. So let's begin this journey together. Let's listen, reflect, and walk through this story side by side.
Well, it all started on a rainy afternoon. I still remember the sound of the rain tapping gently against the window, as if it had its own rhythm, its own story to tell. I was sitting there staring at the old notebook in front of me, wondering if I was finally ready to open this chapter. There's always something about the quiet, the stillness that lets your thoughts flow, but also the weight that comes with it. It's in those moments that you can almost feel the past standing right beside you, watching you, waiting for you to face it. Back then, everything felt like it was moving so fast. New York was full of life, full of noise, but somehow I felt lost. It was a strange feeling, like I was right in the middle of everything, yet completely alone. I had just turned 20, away from home, trying to figure out who I was, what I wanted. The city was alive with its lights, its sounds, everything seemed so full of possibility, but truth be told, I was scared. It was in that city, with its towering buildings and constant hum, that I met him. He was everything I hadn't expected, young, carefree, with that smile that made you believe anything was possible. At first, it felt like a dream, like something out of a movie. We didn't know where it was going, or even if it would last, but in that moment, it didn't matter. We were both so young, so caught up in the excitement of it all, that we didn't see the road ahead. So there I was, not long after, feeling the weight of something I hadn't been prepared for. I'll never forget the moment I realized. It wasn't a sudden shock, not at first. It was more like a quiet knowing, my body telling me something I hadn't wanted to hear, and then the reality set in. I was pregnant. I didn't tell anyone at first. I remember pacing around my tiny apartment, the sound of my own footsteps echoing in the silence. I couldn't even bring myself to look at the test anymore. It felt unreal, like something that couldn't possibly be true. I tried to push it out of my mind, to pretend that it wasn't happening, but with each passing day, it became harder to ignore. I remember the way he looked when I told him, his face filled with confusion and fear. He wasn't ready, he didn't know what to do, and I couldn't blame him. We were both just trying to figure out who we were, but I could see it in his eyes. He wasn't ready for a child, and deep down I wasn't sure I was either. I'll admit it, I felt so alone in that moment, like I was standing at the edge of something, but I didn't know which direction to take. The world outside kept spinning, but inside I felt frozen.
Well, it's strange, isn't it? The way a decision can change the course of your life. It's one of those moments where you feel like everything is falling apart, but also somehow you're still holding on. I can still hear the soft hum of the fluorescent lights in the clinic, that sterile, cold air, the scent of antiseptic lingering in the background. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, my hands shaking as I held the pen, the paper in front of me.
I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to make this choice. But I couldn't think of any other way out. I remember looking at the clock on the wall. The ticking of the second hand was so loud, so constant, like a reminder that time was running out. I felt like I was trapped in a moment I couldn't escape from. The nurse was kind but distant. She said all the right words, words meant to calm, but I didn't hear them. I couldn't focus. All I could think about was the weight of what I was about to do. The room was quiet except for the sound of my own breathing. It felt like the whole world had faded away. There was just me and the decision I had to make. When I signed the papers, my hand was unsteady. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but it felt like the hardest thing I'd ever done. I wasn't just signing my name. I was signing away something so much bigger. And then, just like that, it was done. The world didn't stop. The rain outside didn't even pause. People kept going about their day, unaware of the storm that had just torn through my life. But I walked out of that clinic feeling emptier than I ever thought was possible. So there I was, standing outside in the cold sun, feeling like I was walking through a dream. Everything seemed to blur together, the faces, the noises, the light. I remember the wind brushing against my skin, sharp and biting, as if trying to wake me up from the haze I was in. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake that feeling, that emptiness. It followed me like a shadow I couldn't escape. I told myself I'd move on. I'd just keep going. I'd bury it all deep inside and pretend like nothing had happened. But every time I saw a child, every time I heard the laughter of a mother and her baby, it felt like a knife in my chest. It didn't matter how much time passed, that hole in my heart never closed. It was there, always there. There was this one moment I'll never forget. I was in a grocery store just picking up a few things when I heard it, the sound of a baby crying. It was so pure, so innocent. I froze. The tears came before I even realized what was happening. I couldn't stop them. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just mourning the loss of a child. I was mourning the loss of a future I'd never get to have. A future that had been taken from me in a way, by my own hand.
Well, I think time has a way of hiding things from you. It's like it wraps up all your emotions, buries them deep down, and tells you it's okay to move on. But we both know it's never really okay, do we? The past, the choices you make, they always find a way of catching up with you, no matter how far you try to run. Years passed. I finished school, got a job, started building a life. But the emptiness, it never really went away. It was always there, just beneath the surface, waiting. I thought if I kept moving, kept myself busy, I wouldn't feel it as much, but I was wrong. The ache would return every now and then, and no matter what I did, I couldn't escape it. Then I met someone new. It felt different this time, or at least I convinced myself it was. We built a life together, got married, and started dreaming about having children of our own. But when I went to the doctor, when they told me I couldn't have children, I wasn't prepared for that. It was like a punch to the stomach. The world went quiet for a moment, like someone had hit the mute button. How could this be? How could it all come crashing down like this? I'd spent so many years trying to fill the void, trying to ignore what I'd done, and now I was being told I could never have what I'd wanted all along. So you can imagine how it felt when I heard those words. It was as if the universe was reminding me of my mistake in the most cruel way possible. All the things I had buried, the guilt and the sadness, came flooding back like a wave. I wanted to scream, to run, to do anything to make it stop, but I just sat there, numb. I remember leaving the doctor's office that day, walking out into the street. The sun was shining, but it felt like everything was grey. Everything felt distant, as if I was standing outside of my own life, watching it go by without me. It was one of those moments where you don't know whether to laugh or cry. The truth was, I didn't know how to process what had just happened. Over the years, I tried to push it all aside. I pretended like I was okay, like everything was fine. But inside, I was broken. I never told him. I never told anyone. It became this silent secret, this thing I carried alone. And the truth is, I don't think I'll ever be able to truly forgive myself for what I've done, for what I couldn't do.
Well,
here we are. I find myself sitting here, at this point in my life, trying to find the right words, trying to make sense of it all. It's been a long journey, one filled with twists and turns, highs and lows. But I guess that's life, isn't it? A collection of moments, some good, some painful, and sometimes a little of both. It's been over 30 years since I made that choice. 30 years since I walked into that clinic, made that decision, and changed the course of my life forever. You'd think that with time the pain would fade, that I'd be able to move on and let go. But it hasn't. Not really. It's like a scar that never fully heals. Sometimes it's a dull ache, easy to ignore, but other times it flares up and I'm reminded of what I lost, of what I gave up. I've tried to live with it. I've tried to bury it, to pretend like it doesn't matter. But every year, on my birthday, I think about it. I think about you. I wonder how old you would be now. Would you have your father's eyes, or would you have my laugh? I wonder what your life would have been like if I had made a different choice. Would you have grown up to be kind, strong, full of dreams? Or would I have had the chance to hold you, to tell you I loved you every day? So, here we are. A letter, years in the making. It's not easy, you know, to face the past, to look at it in the face and say, I'm sorry. But that's what I'm doing now. Writing to you, even though you'll never read this. Writing to you as if you were here, as if I could hold your hand and tell you all the things I've never said. I wish I could go back, change things. I wish I could hold you in my arms, kiss your forehead, and promise you the world. But the truth is, I can't. I can't change what happened. All I can do is tell you that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the life I chose for us. Sorry for the pain I caused. Sorry for not being strong enough to make a different decision. But maybe, just maybe, writing this letter will help. Maybe in some small way, it will make the weight a little lighter, the guilt a little easier to bear. I don't know if I'll ever find peace, but I hope, with every part of me, that you can forgive me. And if there's a way, on the other side, maybe you can hear me say it. I'm sorry, my love. I wish I could have given you a chance. Well, here I am, sitting in the quiet, reflecting on the years that have passed. It's strange, you know, how much time can go by and yet certain things never really leave. They stay with you tucked away in the corners of your heart, always waiting to be remembered. And every now and then something triggers that memory, bringing it all back, as if it were yesterday. I still think about you. Sometimes it's just a fleeting thought, like a shadow passing by. But other times it's a full-on wave that crashes over me, and I can't help but feel the weight of what I've lost. I hear a child's laugh, and I wonder if it would have been yours. I see a mother holding her baby, and I can almost feel what it would have been like to hold you in my arms. There's no escaping it, really. The what-ifs, the questions that linger long after the moment has passed. What if I had chosen differently? What if I had found the strength to keep you? Would our lives have been different? Would you have grown up in a world that I could have given you? A world where I didn't feel this constant ache in my chest? So I've spent years carrying this weight. Years of regret, years of wishing I had made a different choice. But the truth is, I can't undo what's been done. I can't change the past, no matter how much I wish I could. All I have now are the memories, the what-ifs, and the hope that somehow, someday, I can find a way to let go of the guilt. I've tried to move on. I've tried to live my life, to find happiness again. I've built a family, a life that I thought would fill the emptiness inside me. But even with all of that, the longing, the grief, it's still there. It's like a part of me is always missing, and no matter how much time passes, that part will never be whole. Maybe that's just the way life is. Maybe there are things we can never fix, things we have to learn to live with. But what I know for sure is that I've carried you with me all these years. Even if we never met, you've always been a part of me, and I've always loved you.
Well, it's funny how sometimes, even in the midst of all the noise, you can still hear your own heart beating. It's like your soul is trying to remind you of something, of a time when you were whole, when things weren't so complicated. I try to push it away, but there are days when it feels like a tidal wave,
overwhelming, impossible to escape. I've spent so many years pretending that I'm okay, that I've moved on, that I've healed, but I haven't, not really, not deep down. The truth is, no matter how much I try to bury it, no matter how many distractions I create, the pain is still there. I've built a life, I've filled it with things, with people, but there's always that empty space, that space where you should have been. I can't help but wonder, if things had been different, if I had made another choice, would I have been the mother I always dreamed of being? Would I have been able to give you everything I couldn't give you then? It's a painful thought, but it's also a hopeful one. Because deep down I know that love, that connection, is still there. Even if we never met, I've carried you with me all this time, and I'll carry you in some way forever. So, now I find myself at this point, looking back, writing this letter. I didn't know if I'd ever be able to do this, to say the things I've been holding inside for so long, but here I am. It feels like the only way to release all of it, to finally give voice to something that's been silent for so many years. I don't know if I'll ever find peace. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive myself. But I'm hoping by writing this, I can start to let go of the burden I've been carrying, and maybe, just maybe, in some way you'll hear me. You'll hear the love that I've always had for you. You'll hear the apology, the sorrow, and the hope that you'll understand. And maybe, somewhere out there, in whatever comes next, you'll forgive me. Maybe one day you'll be able to hear me say, I'm sorry. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to feel that love. And know that, even though we never had the chance to meet, you were always with me. Well, as I sit here, writing this letter, I'm struck by how much time has passed. How many years, how many moments have slipped through my fingers like sand. And yet, it's still fresh. It's like it was yesterday. I can still feel that weight, that crushing sense of loss that has never truly gone away. I've tried to move on, tried to live a life that doesn't revolve around what I lost, but it always comes back, like a shadow I can't outrun. I think about the future sometimes, the future that never came for us. What would it have been like to have you here, to raise you, to see you grow, to watch you become who you were meant to be? I picture it, our little family, all of us together. But then reality sets in, and the truth hits hard. That future doesn't exist, at least not in the way I thought it would. But even with all the pain, I know there's something beautiful in the love I still carry for you. It's a love that hasn't faded, a love that's grown stronger, even in my darkest moments. And maybe that's what I've been holding on to all these years, the hope that somehow you still know. Somehow, you can feel it. So, here I am, writing a letter that I'll never be able to send. Maybe it's not about sending it. Maybe it's just about saying the words I've needed to say for so long. Words I never thought I'd have the courage to speak. And yet, here I am, finally able to put them down on paper. I've thought about you every day, and not a day has gone by that I haven't wondered what could have been. I've asked myself over and over, what would life have looked like if I had made a different choice? Would we have been happy? Would we have laughed together? I'll never know the answers to those questions, but I do know this. I love you. I always have, I always will. And no matter where life takes me from here, I will carry that love with me. You've been a part of me for all these years, even though I never had the chance to hold you. You've shaped who I am today, in ways I never expected, and for that, I'm grateful. Well, I've come to realize that some things in life we can never truly move past. They become part of who we are, woven into the very fabric of our existence. It's like a thread that runs through the core of your being, never really unraveling, no matter how much time passes. And no matter how hard you try to leave it behind, it stays with you, quietly reminding you of its presence. I've tried to find peace. I've tried to fill the emptiness with other things, other people. But I know now that the hole I've been carrying isn't something that can be filled by anyone else. It's a piece of me that's gone, a part of my soul that will never return. And yet, I still find myself searching for it, still wishing, hoping that somehow, somewhere, I can heal the wound I've been carrying all this time. I remember those early days after the decision. It felt like I was drowning in a sea of regrets. Every thought, every feeling was clouded by what I had done. And yet, in the midst of that, there was this tiny voice inside of me. A voice that told me I had made the best decision I could at the time. But that voice never quieted the pain. It never took away the longing. So, here I am, writing to you, trying to put all of this into words. I don't know why I never did this before. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I wasn't strong enough. But now, as I sit here with this letter in my hands, I realize that all I've ever wanted was to make peace with my past, to stop carrying this weight, this guilt, around with me everywhere I go. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know if I deserve it. But what I do hope is that somehow you can feel the love I've always had for you, the love that has never, not once, wavered. Even after all these years, even after everything, that love is still there, quiet but strong. It always has been. And maybe, just maybe, you'll hear me. Maybe, somehow, in this moment, you'll know that I'm sorry. Sorry for everything. Sorry for what could have been, and sorry for what I couldn't give you. But I hope you know, with every part of me, that I've loved you from the moment I knew you were there. Well, sometimes I wonder if all of this would feel different if I had the chance to say it to you face to face. I imagine what it would be like, what it would feel like to hold you in my arms and tell you all the things I've kept hidden for so long, to look into your eyes and finally apologize for not being strong enough to keep you with me. But that's not how life works, is it? We don't always get the chances we wish for. The moments we long for never seem to come at the right time. Instead, we're left with what's already happened, the things we've already done and all the things we can never change. So now all I have is this letter. All I have are these words, these feelings I'm pouring out into the world, hoping that somewhere, somehow, you can feel them. Because if there's anything I've learned, it's that sometimes the only way to heal is to let go of the things we can't control and just allow ourselves to feel the weight of what we've been carrying. I can't change the past. I can't undo what was done. But I can give you this, my truth. The truth that I loved you, and I still do. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So, as I sit here writing these final words, I can't help but think about everything that's led me to this moment. All the years, all the heartache, all the regret. It's funny in a way, how time can pass and things can change, but the emotions that live within us never really fade. They just settle in, finding a quiet place to exist, but they're still there, reminding us of what we've lost. I wonder if you know somehow that I've carried this grief for all this time. I've lived with it in silence, tucked away in the corners of my heart, hoping that maybe one day it wouldn't hurt as much. But I know now that it's not about making the pain go away. It's about accepting it, about acknowledging the loss, and finally letting myself grieve what I never had. I can't change what happened, but maybe, just maybe, by writing this, I can begin to let go of some of the guilt, some of the weight I've carried. Maybe I can find some peace, even if I never get the chance to hold you, to tell you the things I should have said all those years ago. Well, it's hard to imagine how life might have been. You know, the what-ifs always linger in the back of my mind, like a soft hum in the distance. What if I had made a different choice? What if I had been stronger, more certain of myself, more willing to face the fear? I wonder how things would have turned out if I had held on, if I had kept you. But then, the more I think about it, the more I realize that we don't always have the answers. Sometimes life just unfolds in ways we can't predict or control. And maybe that's the hardest part of all, knowing that no matter what we do, we can't always change the course of our own stories. I still find myself caught between two worlds, the one where I made that decision and the one where I didn't, the one where I walked away from everything I wanted and the one where I stayed and embraced the life I could have had. It's a constant tug of war, one that I don't know if I'll ever truly win. But in all of it, I realize something important. It's not about what I could have done, it's about what I do now. It's about making peace with the past and accepting that some things were never meant to be. So, here we are, still living in the echoes of a past that can't be erased. And yet, I find myself wondering, is it possible to heal from something like this? Can a heart ever truly let go of the things it regrets? I don't know the answer. I'm still figuring that out, piece by piece. But what I do know is that I'm trying. Every day, I try to be a little stronger, a little more accepting of myself and the choices I've made. I know I can't change the past. I know that I can't undo the things I wish I could. But I also know that I can keep moving forward. I can keep living, even if it means carrying the weight of this for the rest of my life. I may never get the chance to hold you, to tell you everything I've held inside, but in my heart, you'll always be there, and that's something no one can take away.
Well, sometimes, when I close my eyes, I can still hear it. The soft sound of your breath, the rhythm of life that could have been. I think about it a lot, more than I care to admit. The life we could have had, the moments we'll never share. And as much as I try to push those thoughts away, they keep coming back. I wonder, if things had been different, if I had chosen a different path, would we have been happy? Would you have laughed the way I imagine you would? It's strange, how these thoughts can haunt you. How they can sneak up on you when you least expect it, when you're just going about your day. It's funny how memory works, isn't it? Sometimes it's like a light flickers on, and you're transported back in time, to a moment that feels as real as it did then. I can still see the way I was, the way everything felt so uncertain. But I was hopeful, I was so hopeful that things would work out, and then they didn't. I made a choice, and here I am, living with the echo of that decision. So, here I am, at this point in my life, looking back, trying to piece it all together. The truth is, I don't know if I'll ever fully understand it. The choice I made, the life I could have had, it's all a blur sometimes, and yet some days it feels as clear as day. I've tried to forgive myself. I've tried to let go of the guilt that's been with me for so long. But it's not easy, is it? To just let go of something that's become a part of who you are. To wake up every day and know that something is missing, and no matter what you do, that space will never be filled. I don't know what the future holds. But what I do know is this: I'll never forget you. You'll always be a part of me, in ways I can't explain. And maybe, just maybe, I can learn to live with the love I've always had for you, even if it's been buried beneath years of regret. So, I find myself sitting here still lost in thought, still trying to make sense of it all. It's hard, when you spent so many years trying to forget something, only for it to come rushing back at the most unexpected moments. It's like you can't ever really escape it. The guilt, the longing, it stays with you, even when you try to move on. And yet I can't help but wonder, is it possible to move on from something like this? Can you truly heal when a part of your heart is always left behind, a piece that you can never get back? I'm not sure, honestly. I wish I had the answers, but all I have are the questions. And some days that's enough to make me feel like I'm drowning. I still catch myself dreaming about the life we could have had. I see flashes of it, your laughter, the warmth of your little hand in mine, the simple joy of being a mother. And I wonder, if I had made a different choice, if I had been stronger, could that dream have been real? Could we have shared those moments? Well, the truth is, I may never know the answers. I may never understand why things happened the way they did, but I've come to accept that in a way, the questions are a part of me now. The what-ifs, the regrets, they don't define me, but they shape me. They've become part of my story, part of who I am today. I've spent so many years carrying this weight, trying to bury it deep inside. But it's like trying to bury a shadow. You can never truly escape it. So now, all I have are these words, this letter, to say what I've never been able to say before, to admit the pain, the love, and the regret. To finally tell you that I am sorry, and maybe, just maybe, this is the first step in healing. Maybe writing this, acknowledging the truth, will help me move forward, even just a little bit. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive myself, but I'm learning, slowly. And that, I think, is all any of us can do.
Well, there are days when the weight of it feels almost unbearable. When I think about all the years I spent running from it, hiding from what I did, it feels like I've wasted so much time. Time I'll never get back. Time that could have been spent differently, with the love and joy I thought I could have one day. I still find myself wondering, what if I had been braver? What if I had made a different decision, one where I could have kept you? Would things have been better? Would we have built a life together just like I dreamed about in those early moments of my youth? I ask myself these questions often, though I know I'll never have the answers, and yet I can't seem to stop. It's like I'm chasing shadows, grasping at what could have been but never quite reaching it. The truth is, some things are just beyond our control, and sometimes, no matter how much we wish we could rewrite the past, we can't. But here I am, telling you what I never said, telling you how much I love you, how much I wish I could change everything. Maybe that's the most I can do right now. So, as the years have passed, I've learned that healing isn't linear. It doesn't come all at once, and it doesn't come easily. There are days when the pain feels like it's too much, when the memories flood back and overwhelm me. And then there are other days when I feel like I finally reached a place where I can breathe again. But it's never permanent. The healing, the peace, it ebbs and flows, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that's how life works. We carry our losses with us, but we also learn to live with them. We don't forget, but we find ways to move forward, one step at a time. I may never be free of the weight of this decision, but I've come to accept it. I've come to accept that I am not perfect, that I made a choice, and I have to live with it. And yet, in the midst of all that, there is still love. Love that never fades, that never goes away, even when it's buried under years of regret.
Well, I've come to understand something over these years. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's not about erasing the past or pretending that it never happened. No, it's about learning to live with it. It's about finding a way to carry the weight of those choices, those mistakes, and still find a way to move forward. Some days it feels impossible. It feels like the past is too heavy, too much to bear. And yet, in the quiet moments, I realize that it's okay to feel the way I do. It's okay to acknowledge the pain, to let it be a part of me, as long as I don't let it define me. I've spent so many years thinking that I had to fix everything. Now, if I just tried harder, if I just did more, I could somehow make it all right. But I've learned that sometimes the only thing you can do is accept what happened and forgive yourself. It's not easy, but it's necessary. So, now as I write this, I feel a strange kind of relief. It's not a sudden wave of peace, no. It's more like a quiet settling. Like a part of me has been rested so long, is finally able to breathe. And maybe, just maybe, this is the first step toward letting go of guilt, toward moving forward. I don't know if I'll fully heal from this. I don't know if I'll ever truly forgive myself. But I do know this. I'm trying to make peace with it. I'm trying to live the life I still have, the one that's been given to me, not doing it with the love I've always had for you, the love I carry with me every day. You may not have had the chance to live the life we both imagined, but you will always be a part of mine, always. And in some way, I hope you'll know that, wherever you are. Well, here I am, sitting with these words, still trying to make sense of it all. The years have passed, but some things just don't fade. The love, the regret, the hope, they remain with me, lingering like a quiet presence, never too far away. It's strange, isn't it? How some things stay with you forever, even when you try to let them go. I've come to realize that healing doesn't always mean finding a neat, tidy ending. Sometimes it's just about learning to live with the unfinished, the broken, and that's okay. I don't need everything to be perfect, to make sense. What I need, what I've learned, is to accept it, to embrace the imperfection, and to keep moving forward even when the past still weighs heavy. It's a slow process, this healing. It's not something that happens overnight, but each day I'm learning to carry it a little lighter, to let go of some of the guilt, the self-blame. I'm not perfect and I never will be, but I'm here. I'm still moving, still living, still loving. So, as I close this letter, I can't help but feel a sense of finality. Not that it's the end of everything, but that it's the end of carrying this burden alone. I've shared it with you, as I should have all those years ago. I've said the things I never had the courage to say, and in that, I feel a weight lifted. I may never know what could have been. I may never get the chance to make things right, but I do know this. You were always in my heart, even though we never had the chance to meet. and that's a love that doesn't disappear no matter how much time passes. I will carry you with me, always, and maybe, just maybe in some corner of this vast world you'll hear me say, I'm sorry.
Well, as we come to the end of this letter, I want to take a moment to say something to you, the listener, the one who's been with me through every word, every pause, every sigh. You know, stories like this, stories of loss, love, regret, don't just belong to the one telling them. They belong to all of us. They're a part of our shared humanity, the parts of ourselves we often keep hidden, the pieces we sometimes can't find the words for. I hope, as you listen to this woman's journey, you found something of your own in it. Whether it's a moment of reflection, a memory you needed to revisit, or even just a quiet reminder that we all carry something, sometimes heavier than we'd like, but always a part of who we are. We're all just walking through life doing our best to make sense of it all, and sometimes the only thing we can do is share the weight with others. So I just want to thank you. Thank you for being here, for listening, for taking the time to sit with this story. You could have been anywhere else, doing anything else, but you chose to spend this time with us. And that, my friend, means more than you know. I'll leave you with this. Whatever it is that you're carrying, whatever loss, regret, or longing, remember you're not alone in it. We all have our burdens, but we also have the strength to keep moving forward, one step at a time. And just like this story, your story matters too. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and know that we'll be here again whenever you're ready to listen. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you soon.